I think the ET. I said how it could work into the Drow Ranger lane. I feel like it's just nicer to not have to deal with that. And it's one of those things that doesn't really care all that much with dealing with the Ogre Magi. You know, one of Ogre's big strengths is, of course, he's got a high HP pool, also a lot of armor at the early
10
stages. So maybe
seconds
we might
remaining.
see, not getting the Echo Stomp, getting a few points into the natural
5
order a bit
seconds
earlier so
remaining.
that you can actually trade with it. Take just 1 point takes off, 3 out of his 7 armor that he starts with, which is pretty damn handy.
And they don't have the greatest way to deal with the Cop as well, keep in mind. I do like Lesh at least. Again, any kind of Your Scepter builder always feels relatively nice. But, we'll see how that's also, able to continue on, as it's a hero that's going to be able to make a lot of plays this game. Might be a bit too squishy. Quap, Drow, Venge, like, could get punished.
Could. What's really left for them now? I feel like this is an Ogre 3, Venge 5, so you've got the position 4 that's left. It needs to be something that's able to soak up a lot of damage. It's able to take attention away.
Team back.
I mean, the things that immediately come to mind
Conquer.
are, obviously Clockwork or Spirit, things of that nature. Spirit Breaker isn't horrible either. It's one of those things that, as long as you get the cast off onto the Darkseer or of your ultimate, this is, or whoever is surging, there's no
10
real way to get
seconds
away from it.
remaining.
So, don't mind that one.
5 seconds remaining.
This is
Dire team
another
back.
Conquer getting picked up as well. I think, is this our 3rd game we've seen Abed play the Conquer? They have put a lot of priority on picking up, the Conquer for Abed, and I've been very impressed with how he's performed. And look at the combo they have: the Vac back into the the AOE, I should say, of the ET Conquer, even that Leshrac stun
10
as well.
seconds
If you if you're in range or haven't used it already. But the control versus the Queen of Pain is
5
really nice. This kind of
seconds,
forces
team
Cop to
back.
go for like a Your Scepter, just to kind of offset the Conquer combo and throughout the big fights as well.
So I wonder if T1 are messing with Dog a little bit here, because let's have a look at this draft that T1 have got. Venge, Drow, Ogre, Quap.
10 seconds
Yesterday,
remaining.
Dog played against Execration, and they picked Venge, Drow,
5
Quap,
seconds remaining.
and then there was a Tusk and an Io. So I would feel that the Io provides that buff in the same way that the Ogre does. So we'll see if they pick up the Tusk here, just to say, look, you played it, you didn't make it work against Execration. Let's see if we're able to.
Just trying to take a draft that we saw from another team and see if they can spin it in their way as well. But what are we looking for? So this is the Lesh is now the lane with, how do they play it? Because Lesh Darksea lane? Because you pick up the Conqueror as Abed's hero, unless they, I think this is definitely Abed's hero, right? You're not going to put it anywhere else. So then now you got a Darkseer 3, ET5, Lesh
Dire
playing
team
4, but
back.
that's a Lesh Darkseer lane, which I
Radiant
wonder how it
team
works.
Like in the Tide Band, they finally get rid of it at the very end. We've seen a few teams, well, not a few teams actually, it's basically only Boom that runs Darkseer as a 4. They played it with Hyde a little bit, and with the ability they have to start stacking up a lot of these camps,
10
it wouldn't
seconds
surprise
remaining.
me if they tried to do something like that. Maybe leave
5 seconds remaining.
Kunkka on his own after a
Dire
little bit? No,
team
you can't
pick.
really do that into a Drow Ranger, and it's going to be a Chaos Knight. Okay. So that's more likely to be the position 1, you would think. So yeah, I guess it's Lesh Darkseer. No real great synergy, at least until you get at least the Yules or some other stats and something to protect yourself.
10 seconds
Well,
remaining.
they don't really deal with the Phantasm illusions very well at all. I'm
5
thinking
seconds
maybe they could
remaining.
think of like an Underlord or something, because they do need a front line.
This isn't a 5 Darkseer, is it? Pair it with the Chaos Knight, you're against an Ogre, and probably another melee support that wants to initiate. So you've already got great right-clicking potential from the Chaos Knight, and then you've got the Ion Shell on top of that, and Chase Down.
You may now select your heroes.
We got a wonky draft. We got
I want to see the 5 Darkseer. Ah, damn. Well, it's going to be in your dream plan, the Chaos Knight, at least. No stand-ins for today, thankfully.
They don't have Arthur.
Well,
Never mind.
I say that. There's a Chinese player from Team Serenity.
Yeah. I think he is. I thought he was. I'm pretty sure he came from Southeast Asia actually.
He's Malaysian. Yeah.
Malaysian, there you go. Okay, so we do have a stand-in. No Arfu for them. Once again, Team Dog unfortunately playing with the stand-in at the moment. We're gonna have the off-lane Vengeful Spirits, so they will kind of swap it up at the moment. You take a look at Team Dog's lineup, they don't have the greatest way to be able to deal with the Supernova. Pretty honestly, they don't. I don't think they might kill it once. If they kill it more than once, I'd be pretty goddamn surprised this game. It's a bit of a wonky draft from Team Dog. They've been a huge fans of this kind of, you know, combo with all the AoE they have, but can they execute it though? That's kind of the question.
It's another one of these instances of you look at T1's draft and you're like, well, how do they start fights? But if you've just got a good start, you've got now the Vengeful Spirit as a core, so you're going to have more levels, you're going to have more points in the Vengeance aura. Maybe it's going to be the aura build style, but actually having auras at, let's say, the 15-minute mark of the game, and they're just going to be like, you know, come at me, bro. I've got Bloodlust buffing me up. I've got Avenge that's allowing me to attack at longer range. And if you do come on me, you'll have Phoenix just sitting behind and Carl waiting for the counter initiate. So I don't know. Could go either way. You are a little worried about the squishiness of the T1 roster, but I don't know. Let me have when we're into the game as well.
Yeah. It's a wonky one to be able to work out, but it's a hype series to say the least. T1 up against Team Dog. T1 currently sitting in that second position, so looking to try and claim first place after we saw TNC previously, and you know, Team Dog trying to at least, you know, gather a couple more wins at the moment. But this bottom lane should go incredibly well for them, and AT Chaos Knight is such a strong, they're both incredibly strong laning stage heroes, and I'm intrigued to see how this Venge is going to play, because you're pretty goddamn squishy. So Cuckoo, his positioning has to be on point in this lane.
The chat wheels are out in force.
Always with these teams. They're always, you know, coming out, seeing how they can fare. But I mean, you see the synergy that comes out from T1. You know, you get the Drought, you got the Venge, you got the Ogre, so a lot of amplification, whereas Radiant, they don't really have that steroid, and we are really seeing at least one team having some form of a steroid. And, you know, this late game, I love the Phoenix, this pick. Like, the Sunray is going to do so much work this game, the Supernova as well. You know, they don't have the greatest way to protect it. You know, Sonic Wave is actually relatively decent, honestly, just with that pushback, more than what you might expect. And naturally, Radiant don't have any ways to really deal with it. So I like T1's draft. To be honest here, I'm intrigued to see how it's going to work though.
The battle begins.
It's okay, in my opinion. I mean, the one buff potential that they've got on Dog is not necessarily something that's used on other people, but the natural order is going to be really nice to be able to be picked up and just plop down right on top of the T1 guys. You know that they're going to be all clumped together after, you know, the first, let's say, 2 items that they're able to pick up. So you might be able to get some really nice Echo Stomps off there and use that to transition into, like, there's wombo combo potential, for sure. You know, Echo Stomp, Earth Splitter, Vac Wall, Leshrac, you know? So there's plenty.
I like how they're setting up the lanes as well. They're putting the Elder Titan with the Darks here, so the melee 4 really gets enabled, just being able to utilize the Iron Shell, and he's already going to have so much movement speed as well, and that's always going to get buffed up with the Surge, and then they put the Lesh in the Chaos Knight lane, a point target stun to set up for your split Earth, so I really like how they're at least running the lanes here from Team Dog.
Okay. Should be pretty good. What's the nice stun coming through from Whitemon, actually. Gets Rogi before he's able to reach the small camp to block it up.
Weep some more.
I want to see what he levels up at 2 on Rogi here, if he wants to try brawling against the Ogre Magi.
Should be able to do a relatively decent job of that. You see Ogre's even got the Orb of Venom, so he kind of wants to brawl and went for the Fire Blast as his level 1, but they've shoved in the lane, so it looks like Radiant really looking to get their level 2s, which Ice has already picked up, because they want to punish the Drow. Last sitting under the tower early as a Drow is so incredibly rough, and look at them go, but Jackie's got his own multi-shot, back. Who's going to get this first blood on the tower? Looks like Ice will be able to, and Roger's going to be able to scurry away with his life. And also down to the side, Polo and In Your Dream finds out another kill, which is going to be on Zephyr.
Nicely done. I mean, yeah, that is the one thing with the Phoenix. You know, use the fiery spirits. What's he gonna do here? Is he just gonna move around? Is he bringing spells stuff back to Cuckoo? Is he a little short on what he wants to bring out? Yeah, there we go. He's just picking up the Wraith Band, making sure that Cuckoo's gonna have a better time, and in your dreams, just taunting him a little bit here, faking out the reality rifts over and over.
I mean, they are going to get a lot of kills in this lane, I think. You know, Zephyr before that dive and Cuckoo as well. Like, he's going to be... It's going to be pretty difficult for him. You see, it's awkward to run up. You know, they got the creep equilibrium. Dire to at least get a nice pull off, so they're going to try and offset the equilibrium at the moment in this lane. But how's mid going? Abed 12-3 compared to the 10-5 on Carl, so having a pretty good time at the moment. Carl's got a decent amount of armor, which is going to at least protect him a little bit against that Tidebringer.
Ice is just being annoying with this vacuum. He's preventing the last hits onto creeps while they're under the tower, right before the attack animation's about to go off.
See both the
they're just
supports.
brawling.
Yeah. Do they block any...
A shovel in a briefcase.
Well, there's a center in the hard now, so just in case they go for the pull, which is really nice. We see a lot of time against the ET. You've got to prioritize making sure he doesn't have any camps to utilize here, because it's so important. If you get, you know, some extra stacks and down bot, Zephyr should be okay. He's got the dive, but you just see the harassment. Man, he falls so low. That stun setup from In Your Dream for Polo is just going to provide them too much threat here. And I mean, you see it's showing right now on how aggressive they're being in the lane. But you know, one thing Ice as well is, you know, he's not getting as many last hits, but neither is the Drow. So at least they're kind of, you know, pressuring out also Jackie.
Nicely done by Whitemon to try and pull this creep camp away, prevent the pull, but this cheeky Centaur Corsair just not wanting a bar of it. He's going to be able to deny
could actually be in trouble with mid if Lesh can get in range for the follow-up stun. Arbed's already used the Tidebringer, the quick blink. Very close. Beautiful timing there from Arbed. You know, with the rotation coming out from the support just by that power rune, he chucked up the X and Torrent at a perfect timing while the Lesh was there. So very close to getting that kill. Just a game of inches. They do at least get the rune away from the Queen of Pain though.
We'll just get away. Level 5 picked up now by Kunkut, so more frequently, of course, able to put out the harass. It just scales up so much in the early game. Right before these power runes are going to come up, you would think that maybe they might try and go for a cheeky attempt into invading the jungle, take away that bounty rune from Carl, make sure he's not actually able to immediately go back to the lane. Here we go.
End up dying here actually.
There it is.
Arbed is a god. Finds the solo kill before the level 6. He's going to be able to shove in the lane, and I mean, Carl's going to miss out on a lot of creeps, and Arbed, if he wants to get the bounty, it looks like Zephyr's already set up for that one at least, but we've seen Arbed in the past couple of games on the Conqueror, and he's looked incredibly strong, and still continuing with that.
What surge is this?
What we got here with Paulson. He's building into a bracer for himself. So, you know, in previous games, we've seen the position 4s. They want to go this super greedy style, assuming that they're never going to get hit by anything, but you're going to need to contest against this T1 draft. You know, you're going to need to try and run into him at some point. So that little bit of extra HP, it's going to be really impactful for someone like Paulson that just wants to live for as long as he can.
I smoked up, just trying to take some stacks in the jungle in case there's any setup here. I mean, he's had a bit of a rougher lane. Might even have an opportunity. You know, Arbed having the level 6, I think they really want to try and put pressure on Carl, and even with the power runes about to be up as well. Carl, not going to be able to get that one, unfortunately.
Snipe the courier, give it a karate chop, Ice.
Ice. Come on, get it. Surged up. One more. Oh, it was so much damage. Just going to try and TP up, but Radiant have a catapult wave, so you see the emphasis with the supports rotating mid, really trying to put as much damage as they can onto the tower. It's just below that halfway point now, so yeah, nicely done on the side of Team Dog, and now Carl could be in trouble. Arbed has the ultimate coming through, and Polo's going to be able to follow up with a stun. Whitemon's going to try and disrupt the follow-up damage here, but it will not be enough there from the Ogre Magi. And even with 2 points in the Edict, so this tower is going to continue getting melted, and they're going to be careful how long they want to stick around. Zephyr doesn't have the dive. So with the OET coming forward, he'll pop the Fairy Fire, but still the Tidebringer, such a low cooldown because of the maxed out level. Whitemon does at least find Polo. He's going to try and also drag the creeps off so they're unable to take the tower, but this has been such a good start to the mid lane here. They've got a 2,000 net worth lead on Team Dog.
So efficient with all this. Abed wasn't able to get any of chance to get grabbing the neutral items there, but even taking away some of the farm from T1's side of the map, getting that small camp at the same time as the full wave. And yeah, 4-second cooldown on that Tidebringer. A couple of braces, that's all you really need. What's he got coming out to him now? The completed phase boons too, so it's pretty dangerous to try and contest into any of this, and it's only going to get worse when he reaches level 10 and has that plus 30 damage through.
Fire. They want to punish how aggressive Radiant are playing at the moment up top. Ice is going to try and get the surge away, but Whitemon perfect positioning. Be able to stop him in his tracks. So they've had a pretty good time up top at the moment. Drow's already at that level 6, about 6 2/3 here. So they should be able to go farm the jungle at a relatively quick rate if they do start to pressure him out. But
it's another one of the advantages of having the Venge. Like, yes, of course, the Venge buffs the Drow, but if you're having it as a core Venge, the Drow buffs the Venge as well with the marksmanship, granting the nearby heroes with bonus agi based on Drow's farm that he's been able to grab. So just amplifies. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement. Oh, they're going in on mid, Carl.
He's got the run buff now, Die. They're trying to collapse on top of the Conquer here. Cuckoo has a swap still to be able to utilize as well. He's going to drag him back. Can you have the Echo Stomp to at least give some space to Arbed? He's going to try and turn and deal whatever damage he can before he dies. Now with the Fire Blast as well, Whitemon just gets in range. So the emphasis from T1 to rotate over and keep Carl alive, considering he did kind of suffer early. And they're going to punish Conquer and also the Elder Titan there. Ice has dropped this wall up top. And he's putting a lot of damage on Jackie. But now with Whitemon TPing, can Ice get the kill before Whitemon comes here? And it looks like he won't be able to. White's actually got a dominating spree. He still dies though because the illusion coming through from the wall with that Iron Shell. But at least Ice punishes the draw.
It's just keeping the illusion on top of him as well with the Iron Shell, trying to harass out as much of Whitemon as he can, but Cuckoo's actually going down here all the way underneath his tower despite going for this stat-heavy build. He's building up into the Wraith Bands, the Magic Wand, full points in the Vengeance Aura, but it's not enough.
You see it in your dreams also going for a Midas as well. He's already gone the Treads, Bracer, a lot of kind of earlier items to allow him to have a strong lane, and then into the Midas that's going to enable him to kind of more transition as a later game carry, because we've been highlighting whenever we see the Chaos Knight. This is a hero who super strong in the lane, but you can really start to fall off because you don't have a way to really keep up in farm. And well, he's got a jelly which is going to feel pretty nice. But
he ain't fallen off though. Look at his farm compared to everyone else. A full 1k ahead of the Drow Ranger. Phoenix might be going down here. No, pops the full one.
Actually, it looks like Ice is going down though. That multicast from Whitemon. This is, I mean, the early levels from the Ogre, kind of paying off there. That multicast is level 7 right now. It's helping out. I mean, the Phoenix is going to be able to get the Tome as well. And it looks like Jackie's also going to be able to take a stack away. So, Rated, they do have a 2,000 net worth lead at the moment. So they're looking pretty strong in that regard.
But if you told me that it was probably going to be Team Dog taking the first tower of the game and that being the mid tower, I would be saying, well, you sure about that? Especially with this lineup that T1 have got. But just goes to show what good positioning, good vision can do for you.
That's going to be super important for them now as well, because you take a look at the vision that they've got around the triangle, well aware that this is the place that the Drow Ranger wants to be sitting. Even Cuckoo trying to provide some stacks. That Wave of Terror just a little bit late, unfortunately. So Radiant with, they don't have, what's the Ghost Ship 80-second cooldown at level 1. They can really take fights pretty aggressively right here and hunt the jungle and pressure Jackie whenever he's taking the Ancients. But you see instantly, T1 just making sure that the Drow is going to feel comfortable to continue playing around the triangle. So nicely done from T1.
Lots of neutral items as well. Jackie was lacking a little bit. He gets even a nice healing cell for himself.
On mid lane, nice. Relative back. They get the 1 second stun. Polo's going to try and follow up. Whitemon won't be able to disrupt that.
Dire's top tower is
Little
under
nice
attack.
rotation for them. They tried to smoke up and I think maybe head to the triangle, but because they lost the ward and saw Quap playing as aggressively as she was, so they're like, all right, well, that's a pretty goddamn good kill as well. And meanwhile, take a look at what's happening top. Arbed along with Ice taking a T1 tower.
Just more pressure throughout the map. I'm impressed. I mean, this is even without the Lash that's skilled up the Edict. I guess there's nothing really you can do without the Queen of Pain. There's no way you want to be frontlining as the Drow. Cuckoo, not quite at the point that he would like yet. What's he... Hasn't got anything queued up. Thought he just got something delivered to him, but no, that death setting him back a fair amount.
And with the Queen of Pain struggling at the moment, it's just going to continue reducing her items at a quick rate. And you see how squishy they are at the moment on Dire. Like, this is something you highlighted, them not having kind of this front line going for, you know, the Venturous Spirit is a 3, which they have shown some flexibility playing in multiple roles, but it's going to make it difficult for them to be able to sustain as this game goes on. So, being about 3,000 gold behind could be a bit tricky, considering they might not have as much impact from the Venge and the Quap. Like, this position 3 might turn into almost like a 3.5 from the Venge instead.
Just looking at some of these timings coming through. Very, very close to picking up the armlet here for In Your Dream. Should come at around a similar time as, well, at least the Ogre Axe for Abed as he heads towards his BKB. Just going for the full stats. And he is dealing a crap ton of damage right now. That Tidebringer, the cleave damage, including the damage bonus. He's going to be able to start leading the siege, whereas it feels like T1 just have no one to rally around just yet. They're trying for the swap, but level 1 doesn't do that much.
Yeah, very, very low cast range. And it looked like the Chaos Knight is actually swapped up the build. He's going to be going for the Sun Yasha instead of the armlet there.
That's totally fine as well. You know, just good at all stages, prevents the silence even. You know, the status resistance is going to be quite nice.
See, I guess it's also going to end up giving you like a little bit of extra attack speed, if that's going to be as much of an importance here, because they really don't have a way to deal with a Tombstone. Is this a game where they feel like on yeah, what I say? Did I say
Tombstone?
There's
been a lot of Undying. Yeah. There's been a lot.
You know, when it gets to 2 AM, I can just blame that instead of just, you know, my mind playing games with me. But yeah, I do mean the egg. It's a game where Radiant have a bit of a more difficult way to be able to deal with it, considering they don't have like this, you know, more conventional position 4 or some of the carries that are a lot better against it. So that little bit of attack speed could come in handy at the early levels with the level 1 Supernova.
As well as going in onto the backlines as well, right? Like, if you go the Sanjin Yasha, you can eventually disassemble it. You can build into a halberd and maybe into a blink then. Get on top of the Drow Ranger, make sure the marksmanship isn't a factor, and still have the sustain through reducing that damage to make sure that she's just not going to burst you down. And that just allows the rest of the team to converge in on you and potentially set up for that wombo combo.
And we see Ice once again going for this interesting build. You know, last time we played the Darkseer, I kind of brought it up like questioning, is this kind of the build right now on the Darkseer? But it looks like Ice likes it. You know, the Urn Boots of Travel, putting more points up in the VAC after the Iron Shell's maxed out. So, you know, at least it's going to allow him to constantly be involved.
For sure. What's he going into next? Is this a Crimson Guard? Was it just a Vanguard here on Ice?
Looks like a casual one. Interesting. Dumbbot might have an engagement. Arbed just picked up the level 12 as well. Zephyr was going to get found here. That dive will not do anything. Has to commit the Supernova just to keep his life. So, I mean,
at least they get the boat out of it.
Yeah, that's true. If they didn't use boat, Radiant would have felt pretty confident with actually maybe making like a smoke maneuver or something. But I have been impressed with how much farm Jackie's been getting. Like, this is, you know, one of the better carry players that we've seen kind of develop in the Southeast Asia region, and T1 have done a very good job at being able to kind of protect the area that he's been farming. You know, this bottom tier 1 usually you wouldn't say is as important, but when you have someone who really relies around playing around the triangle, it can just open up a lot more movements for the enemy team to infiltrate through. And also the fact that T1 have done a very good job at kind of warding and de-warding in that area.
Yeah, particularly the warding. Like, there's only one entry point that's available, and that's to the right of this high ground of the mid tier 1. But Obviously, Dog realizing, hey, we haven't seen the Drow for a while. That's probably where he is. Just in case we want to try and make something happen, let's make sure there's no wards nearby. A few pings happening towards bottom lane. This lane's eventually going to push in with the siege creep to assist, but sure, maybe Abed might want to just go down there. He's got the...
Oh no.
Oh, is he stacking? Oh,
They might
get it off.
They're gonna smoke on Dire. They tried to drop a sentry. They're all grouped up. Look at the information that Radiant just had. Seeing everyone in the jungle. So it looks like Ice is gonna try and shove in bot. And then they might be in fighting shape here because in your dream he's got the Sanjin Yasha completed. Maybe thinking that they grouped up and yeah, they really want to try and protect this tier 1 mid. You know, when because Dire need a... It feels like they haven't really made a movement, just still playing pretty passive, allowing the Drow to find the farm, but it's allowing Radiant also just hold all their objectives.
They just picked up a Vambrace as well, and you can see here he is going into that Blink Dagger on the Chaos Knights, so wanting to get it onto the backlines before they're able to dish out too much damage. It also means that, you know, you might force Zephyr to pop a Supernova if you're getting this early timing on that Blink, so level 1 is still pretty damn squishy, only 6 attacks needed to get rid of it.
Once Cuckoo also gets that level 12 in the swap, it's going to give them a lot easier way to be able to find a couple pickoffs because they are lacking at the moment. You see Radiant, they're actually just grouping up for the tier 2. Maybe trying to force some rotations. They've got a relatively good ward on the high ground. It's going to see one of the stairs coming up here. Or actually sees a second one if they come through the mid lane instead. But you know, Polo's going to posture pretty aggressively. Ice with the back as well. Polo, can he get in range for the stun? He can't, but here comes In Your Dream. Reality Rift, Whitemon's in trouble. Got to be careful how deep you want to dive. And now with the swap, In Your Dream, they don't get the silence. So now with the stun, prevents the Phoenix from dropping the Supernova. Will do so at the end. But it looks like the rest of Radiant need a retreat. Carl has got the heals. Can he get the vision on anyone though? Looks like he can't. So it's going to be a 1-for-1. But that is a big fight for tier 1 as Chaos Knight was top of the net worth.
It's a big fight, but why did they take it? There's no Gunker there. It was a little bit odd to me, but well, they're going to let T1 slightly back into this game. I felt like it was starting to run away from them with Team Dog, just with some good team play coming together and being able to take a few objectives. Getting a little bit too cocky though in the end.
Maybe it's just some miscommunication as Abed, you know, after that wave just finished the BKB. They just had the mechanism completed as well. So going a bit too aggressive there before their timings. You know, maybe that's the call from the Chaos Knight is like, guys, I got my Sanjin Yasha. I want to fight. But you know, maybe it's just needing to be a little bit more vocal out of the other heroes because how close they were to their own timings. But they're actually going to try and walk and claim Roche here. I mean, they're the Supernovas on cooldown, and you do have the minus armor with that Reality Rift up to 6 now for him. And they've got, you know, all their ultimates. Actually, walls down for another 20 seconds here, but the scan connects. Here they come.
Doesn't look like Jackie's all that keen to try and join though, unless he just wants to push this underneath the tower, stuffs himself back.
It's falling low here. They got to do something. AT is just going to try and zone them away. They even dropped the ward as well, so they want to try and take the fight. Drag back. Cuckoo is fine, but they do get the X on Carl, who's got the heals to the blink away. Abed won't be able to get vision for the Torrent, but it looks like they drag back Whitemon. Now Torrent on Cuckoo as well. They're in trouble. The wall's on too. Jackie's going to be careful as well that he shows himself because Abed is going to have the X up in a couple of seconds. They'll surge the Conquer, and Jackie is in trouble here. Gus going to try and disrupt it, but they still have the Earth Splitter perfectly timed here as they're going to punish them. You know, there we go. We see Radiant. They take a fight with all their item timings. And Carl mid, he's chilling unless Abed can get in range now. He doesn't have that surge movement speed, so they're, you know, beautifully done from Team Dog.
And if he wants to buy it, he's got enough for the Blink Dagger as well on the Chaos Knight. So it's a pretty handy situation to be in where you're spoiled for choice. You can opt to go for that BKB. Even just having the Phantasm against the Phoenix is so nice. Even if you get the perfect Fiery Spirits onto people, simply press your R, it's gone. You can just freely hit away at that egg. Might even get lucky and dodge out the Sonic Wave.
Found Zephyr here. He's got the Supernova. He might be forced to use it. T1, they're about to respawn as well. Can he get the cleave off? No, won't be able to. Actually connects with the Torrent. I don't think the Urn's on him for long enough, but look how strong Radiant feel. They don't have all their ultimates up at the moment, but they really want to take these objectives before Dire are at a stage where they feel confident fighting. They just can't find the initiation. Cuckoo's leading forward. AT is just going to face check and zone him back though. You got to be careful how far you overstep the mark with how squishy you are in the Venge. Get back in. Abed. Still got a 10-second BKB charge, and their ultimate's about to come back up. Wall in 10 seconds. Burst Splitter in another 15 as well, so that's a secondary tier 2, and they might just look to link up with bot. Pop instantly going to try and TP down Carl, recognizing this is the next objective here for Team Dog.
Holding a lot of gold on this CK. He's nearly up to 4,000 at this point. He's not quite sure. Maybe he's going to buy the BKB all at once. Could be an option.
Well, you might want to back off and wait for him to get the item as Wymon. Face checking, Radiant. They can kite the fight back. They don't have everyone just yet. In Your Dream's going to try and turn 4-second sun control on the Ogre. Meanwhile, Polo as well trying to lock in Carl. He's already used the yours very defensively. Sonic Wave, it's not enough. He's actually still gets the blink out finally, but now with the combo. Supernova, they stun up Jack. He's incredibly weak. A defensive swap, but he's got to be careful with the X. Drag him back. Jack is in trouble. Albert with the BKB. They continue to hunt. Torrent perfectly placed. Going to be able to find Cuckoo. And In Your Dream, Chaos Ball once again, a 3-second stun, and T1 just unable to take a fight successfully on their side of the map as Team Dog are way too far ahead. It's an ultra for In Your Dream, and even the ET keeps his life. Or the Vengeful might be able to get it with the illusion. Needs to juke a drive. Needs some help for the team. Team, help me! I'm getting chased from the illusion. Do something. No.
Oh, don't reality rift him closer.
Oh.
Oh, so close. Well, no frontliner. Turns out bad.
Yet. Very true. Just an easy way to analyze this one. No frontline. Bad game.
Just doesn't feel good, right? Like, no one wants to run in first in a team fight unless you know you've got some sort of save. Like, Cuckoo, he's very much a team player, but, I mean, you're a Venge, right? You're a core Venge. You need to be able to survive, at least to be able to get off that second swap. And it just feels like if you're putting yourself on the front lines, they've got enough stuns to be able to lock you down before that's going to happen. Actually ends up going the straight AC instead of the BKB or the Blink Dagger on the Chaos Knight.
It feels like whenever you have a lineup like this where you've kind of gone in full for a strat and you don't have someone to tank up, like it feels like you really have to snowball a game almost before the enemy team can find the items and almost get the blinks to punish how squishy you are in position base. And T1 just unfortunately unable to do that. Like they are now 8,000 gold behind, and yes, Jackie's still farming nicely, and even honestly Carl has done a decent job at being able to come back relatively well in the net worth, but they're 5k behind the Chaos Knight who's on top. And it's more as well on Cuckoo, which is almost neck and neck with the position 4 on Radiant.
Top tower is under attack.
They're all grouping up again. They got the haste on Arbed. He's able to just simply clear out a wave. Probably smoke coming through. Here we go. Looking to move forward. Ice. Maybe get one more Ion Shell off onto the creep wave, then join the rest of his team. He's nearly got enough for his Shivas as well, so that's why he's sticking around.
No, Whitemon is in trouble here. Sticking on the high ground. Looks like they don't want that target. They're going to go simultaneously for an extra hero here. In Your Dream melts through the support. They want the backline as well. Jackie's got to be careful. He's got the Hurricane Pike and Vicky. Get it off fast enough to get inside the base. Arbed's even going to try and drop the bird on top of the backline, straight on top of the Drow, just in case for the defensive swap. But at least does keep him alive. Age is going to tick out. But man, this game is just... it's just running them over. Team Dog. Such an incredible performance from them so far in game 1. It feels like T1 can't do anything.
Yeah, and they've even got that that Assault Cuirass, which means that taking all of these racks is going to be so much easier. You've even got the illusions to tank up the majority of those hits from the glyph. So Creep's still here. Don't have to worry too much about backdoor protection kicking in. Even if it does, they'll have taken out this racks before then. Diabolic Edict, AC, it's going to be enough.
They've got some bounties still left to claim as well, and a decent amount of gold in the bank as well. In Your Dream, already up to 2,200. And what's happening top, Carl? It's just battling out with Ice. Just see what he's able to do, make it a little bit annoying for him.
A tithe to the impurities.
It's just, T1 are actually smoking. All right, so this feels like they show across, at least Ice top. Polo as well. Actually, TP's going to get cancelled here. And this feels like it's going to be their first kill in quite a while.
Clear sailing now.
Yeah, I mean, slightly out of position on Paulson. He's finally been able to finish up that Greaves. That's all he really needs to do. He just needs to live in a lot of these fights. I feel like Paulson hasn't been all that integral to their success all throughout. I mean, Arbed absolutely dumpstered that mid lane, which came from a pure mechanical outplay coming through there. And Chaos Knight just being so effective with all of his timings. That Midas coming into effect super early on. and just being able to have multiple strength heroes that can stand on the front lines, not care all too much about some of the aggression coming towards them. So can't fault all too much about Team Dog outside of that one slightly too deep dive coming from In Your Dream at the bottom tier 2.
We'll see T1, they are starting to posture pretty aggressively here with the mid lane shoving in. They got a decent observe ward combined up with 2 inside the river. Looks like they're going to try and take a fight, but you got to be careful because In Your Dream, I mean, he just picked up the BKB here. So for this engagement, he's going to have a fresh item to be able to utilize as well. Dive forward, Supernova. Can they even be able to deal with it? Nicely combined up with the Sonic Wave. It's a decent fight starting off right now from Dire, but can they have any more follow-up damage? That's a question. Jack is trying to free hit on top of the backline. He's got the BKB, another Hurricane Pike as well, but Arbit instantly trying to get on top of the Drow. They'll zone him away. Meanwhile, In Your Dream just deals with the rest of T1. What looked like a decent fight for them. They get the combos out, but just the damage wasn't there. They're sustained with the Greaves along with the run buff, really limiting what T1 could dish out.
And the Shiva's Guard aura as well, meaning that the Supernova, the Sunray, despite being fantastic, like you said, I can't think of a better fight that they could have possibly had. You know, position 5, position 4, dishing out 4.2k damage in a team fight, and you still lose. It's looking a bit rough. They're looking to push forward. Maybe back off a little bit. Kind of surprising to me, considering they won't have Glyph. You know there's no Supernova, you know there's no Sonic Wave, but maybe they just want to make it a sure thing. Take the next Roshan.
Yeah, that second one is up and ready for them to claim. Aegis and Cheese, you see all the couriers scouting out. That is, you know, thing about
Korea party.
Yeah, it's cruising. Going along. Remember when they that changed with the couriers when they said in the patch notes that you'd be able to use the items on the courier, and everyone was like, oh my god, 12 slot Dota just dropping meteor hammers, shoving out side lanes, and
Dagoning people
yeah,
down.
Exactly. It's just, you know, trying to micro. Dota's already a hard enough game, and you know, trying to fly a courier in a fight with trying to chuck out a Dagon randomly. Yeah, you don't see that one. I don't even know if it's still a thing. Do you even still use stuff for the courier?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I didn't see it like at all when it was brought up, and
when you could ward previously with it, that was
that's
just
right. Yeah,
busted.
yeah. I'm like, it was so. I like vaguely remember like the patch note where they got rid of it, but I just didn't see it enough to be like 100% certain that it was just completely gone. It's just a funny thing where they, you know, they always do these patches where they get rid of, so they bring stuff in and they're like, oh yeah, that's not good. We're gonna revert it back.
What's beta testing, you know? It doesn't
that's
exist.
True. It's true. Polo. Well, here comes the ward on the high gun once again, trying to utilize this here. Polo with the Greaves, slowed up. See if the ET can kind of disrupt this. They're going to be careful inside the choke point ready. They don't have the vision at the moment, but In Your Dream's going to move forward. A perfect echo stop with the Hospital fall. They're going to try and deal with the Phoenix before the Supernova. It's a 1-for-1 to start, but it looks like T1, they just have to try and retreat away. As the damage, they dished out everything to the Leshrac, and then as soon as they get the kill, they've kind of blown their load there as 3 will fall, and this is a game that Team Dog are just playing incredibly methodically with a 18,000 net worth lead, and it's just seems like it's a game where they should be able to close out here.
That's the thing with going this build on the Leshrac as well. He's just gone full sustain, tons of armor, tons of health. He's got a heal for himself as well so that he can get away without the slows being on him. And they have to commit so heavily, you know, diving deep into enemy lines, and it means that in that time, you're just freely able to go in onto the backlines of T1, something that we thought, you know, maybe that would be the one area of Team Dog that trips them up. They can't get in onto this Drow. They can't get on the backlines onto the Phoenix. But, if they come to you, you're not all that worried about it.
So we're just going to continue seeing them, and that's now the last remaining outer tower claimed here from Team Dog. And I mean, they've got the Aegis for just under another 3 minutes, and even a Lotus all picked up. Like, look at the itemization from Radiant. So much armor against Dire's lineup, and you know that the Ogre's not really going to dish anything out. Phoenix, you know, a little bit of the abilities, but it's mainly this Drow and kind of the Venge minus armor that you're worried about.
The Drow, the Venge minus armor, you've also got the, yeah, with the AC, it's just going to be so impactful. You're not all that worried about the marksmanship being able to remove all of that for you. And then for yourself, we talk about the AC, provides the minus armor to them as well. And you've got the natural order. So some of these heroes are below, below 0. You know, they've got negative armor right now. Drow has negative armor. If, like, she's got +1. It's not good enough.
It's, yeah, you just get shredded. I mean, you see what the Chaos Knight's able to do to a couple of these heroes, but I mean, the win probability, I got 1%, so at least it's not 0%.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. It could maybe take them about 30 minutes. Oh, actually, they do push pretty fast with the Drow, honestly, but still, it's gonna take them a while to bump that 1% chance up to a respectable number where they might be able to take it, but.
I'm just doing some quick maths here. So Drow having 1 armor when Elder Titan is standing next to her. Then you've got the AC, which is another 5. The Medallion, which is another 5. And the Reality Rift as well, which is another 6. So that's negative 15 armor. Would not surprise me if Abed one-shots him.
Oh, God.
Oh, and the Orb of Destruction. My bad. Negative 19.
Oops, forgot another. Jesus, that's just. Ugh. And how you. The one way I can see T1 maybe hoping to take a fight is if Radiant just dive way too far inside the base. Like, you drop a Supernova in a good spot, the Sonic Wave, Jackie's just able to siege on the back line. And that's why it does kind of feel a little bit more difficult for Radiant to go up, because the Chaos Knight's not the greatest sieger. But you've got the Aegis. You got to try and force it out here, because this is pretty much your only real opportunity. But they're going to try and jump off to the side here. Vac drag back, almost time with the Torrent. So we're actually going to blink forward here from Carl with a swap away. Arbed's incredibly deep. He's got the cheese to be able to utilize. BKB's going to get popped as well. Carl's doing a good job to zone away the rest of Radiant. But it looks like they're just going to disengage. That's a lot of BKB's force. In Your Dream slowed up force as well. Oh. What's the BKBs now? That's 9 seconds for Carl. Jackie's down to a 7. You know, they can reset with I mean, only 17 seconds left on the Aegis, unfortunately.
I'm liking this team play out of Ice as well. You know, he's not too concerned about, oh, I need to be doing big damage. He's gone the Ion Shell provides max health, and a couple of times now, Paulson's only been able to get away because he's cast that on top of him. So, some really nice understanding of what's going to help out your team and being able to adapt from what might be, you know, the most popular talent build.
I mean, you see how tanky they are as well. Like, CK's got 3900 HP, Arbed 2900. All the effective HP that's coming out with the run buff, and you know, also the sustain that they're providing. You know, all the damage mitigation. Exactly, yeah. So it's just stupid amount. Like, T1 have to have a miraculous fight somehow on their high ground, and I mean, it's getting just even more difficult. I guess it is showing that Radiant are lacking, like, because the Chaos Knight didn't go for a blink. You know, Darkseid doesn't have a blink as well. So finding the pick off and punishing, you know, one of the squishy heroes on T1 that are pushed out too far outside the base. But, oh, Arbed. Dive with a nice ward here. Back. Oh my god, that's perfect. Ice, clips, till them. Venge and Whitemon. When he tries to help out, but it's not going to work. Lotus up as well, keeps Kuko on the high gun. Meanwhile, look at the Echo Stomp on the backline, sets up for the torrent. Rump off coming out as well, pops the BKB. Drow's going to try and turn, dish out some damage on top of the Elder Titan, but instead, look at the Supernova. It's going to end up getting popped because instantly Team Dog deal with it. Carl's even kipped himself on the high gun. Blink's going to be up in a couple seconds, chucks up the Sonic Wave, does end up finding 2. The buybacks have to be forced here, Radiant. How deep do you want to dive? But it looks like In Your Dream, shredding them apart. They'll end up losing the Venge. Carl still gonna work as well. The X drag back. Arbed's got the torrent. It forces out way too many buybacks. And what a beautiful start there from Radiant. It's just the Vac just size styling on them.
And finally they're like, okay guys, now we can take the towers. It's fine now.
I mean, In Your Dreams got them level 25. Like, what are you gonna do? That's extra plus 10% KO strike chance. It's 40 now. It's stupid. I don't know, this... You got the quad buyback available, but the ultimates are down, and you see Ice, back into the torrent. I was gonna buy back, try and force out this deep. Oh, perfect timing with the stun. Now they're gonna turn as well. Bye Cop, and insta dive back the tip from Polo as well. That's well worth the tip, man. The timing from you puts him down in the deck. 100 seconds, 2 full sets of racks advantage for Team Dog. And they have now a 30,000 net worth lead, and they're not done. There's no tier 2 towers down at the bottom side, so they're just going to try and get the mega creeps and close out this game 1 here. As I don't know how T1 hold this, honestly. It's what's the probability? It's still 1%. It's probably going to jump up a little bit soon as there we go. Ice forward. Back, perfect time. The Torrent instantly assassinates Yoga. He's going to buy back, but once again with the Echo Stomp, they're going to be able to find the Drow Ranger. Can he pop the BKB fast enough? Jackie can. Going to deal with Arbed, but they've just got the Force after armor, after survivability, and the damage is not there. Back inside the base they go. Conker still has the cheese even to be able to utilize as well, and it looks like he's almost got the Aghanims too. Just working on that point booster. There we go.
So on that, getting the courier over towards him. It's just waiting for him as soon as he X's back.
Oh.
And there we go, Torrent Storm available.
And now we're going to see
let's go, baby.
A messy fight. They've already got such synergy with all the AoE control. Even we've seen Ice now with the blink. So, you know, it's already kind of looking like it's game. But, you know, why not just go for a beautiful wombo combo to you know, take it in style here.
Potato PCs, get ready.
Oh god, please no. There we go, Ice, let's reveal it. 5-man wipe him. In your dream, straight away forward. Cuckoo just getting absolutely shredded. Nothing they can do on top of the back line. Venge ends up dropping. There's the backpack, the Torrent. They drop the Supernova in the middle, but instantly BKBs. The rest of Team Dog tries to deal with it, and it looks like that's it. They'll call it. 37 minutes in, Team Dog had a 36,000 net worth lead. Celebrated with the Torrent Storm as well. And this was just a masterclass from Team Dog, even playing with a stand-in as well.
Win probability still says they got a 1% chance though. So, you know, what are we thinking here? How are they going to come back?
I don't know. It's I couldn't theorycraft much there. That game was rough. I am incredibly impressed. Arbit has been playing just so many good games on this Conqueror, and I don't know, Team Dog, even with a stand-in, they're looking too good right now. Danog, what's the thoughts after this game one? How did T1 kind of recoup and come back?
They got a draft for a frontliner. I'll literally take one, you know? they had nothing right now. Yes, the Phoenix was a fantastic, again, conceptually, Phoenix was great that game. You're against a lot of strength heroes. You want to be able to continuously buff up your Drow Ranger, but they just had no one that could actually allow the Drow Ranger to just stand there and do damage. The few times where, you know, they went a little bit too deep into the base, it was, okay, there's a little bit to worry about. You know, Abed was taking a decent chunk of damage when he was trying to run away, but again, they'd itemized correctly on Team Dog to be able to rescue him. The Force Staff, the Solar Crest to buff up his movement speed a little bit. It was just really well played by Team Dog overall, and it felt like with the T1 draft, unless they won literally every single lane, there wasn't going to be a way for them to run away with it. I think you always got to give yourself a bit of a contingency.
A draft that didn't really allow them to make many mistakes, and you see Team Dog just punished that. An absolute masterclass from them secures a game 1 victory. And we're going to take a short break and see if T1 are going to be able to hit back to tie up the series, or if Team Dog are going to be able to take it 2-0.